money's just money. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Relationships gonna get you further than money. Because some artists have their managers tagged or their ads already in their their bio.
Mm-hmm.
So for Benny the Butcher, he had his manager's ad.
Mm-hmm. Young barbers listening out there and who want to be able to charge these type of prices. How much work do they got to put in before they can start charging that much?
Well, the first 5 years of my barber career, I never had a barber license.
You work with the Minnesota Vikings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you are their pretty much their personal barber.
I am, yep.
Yes. So have you come Justin Jefferson there? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another podcast today. Today we're here with Gp.The.Barber. He's well known in Minnesota. He's cut multiple celebrities like Lil Baby and his kids, and as well as Mark Wahlberg and even G-Eazy. So give us an introduction today. GP, how you doing? And tell us a little about yourself, man.
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you having me. I appreciate you having me here. We pretty much said it all. I'm just, celebrity barber, known out here in Minnesota. I've cut, a few different celebrities. I cut athletes.
Tell me about your upbringing, man.
Ooh, my upbringing.
Yeah.
So I am adopted, actually. I'm from a very small town called Bird Island, Minnesota. It's like a town of like 1,000 people. My upbringing as far as like my family, it was cool. Like, I come from a good family, both parents in the house. I actually went to a private school my whole life, pretty much all the way to 9th grade. But I will say that, like, being the fact that I was, one of the only few black kids in that town, I had dealt with a lot of racism. I dealt with a lot of people trying to fight, calling me names, just a lot of different things that I've dealt with. So, as far as that, like, that's probably the only rough part I would say of my life is just, dealing with like a lot of racism and stuff like that. But as far as like my family, like I said, I come from a good family. My dad was an entrepreneur. He owned his own insurance company for over 50 years. So, yeah.
Wow. So you said you dealt with racism. My goodness. Would you say that shaped you to who you are today, or were those trials and tribulations just part of made you who you are?
Yeah, it made me see things differently, especially like after the George Floyd, because it's like, being, raised in that community and knowing the people that you knew, they come off as like, loving and like this and that, and they didn't come off, racist. Some of them, But then when the George Floyd happened, I have them all on, Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. So it's like I started seeing different things, of them saying stuff about black people, and it's just kind of like, damn, maybe you were racist this whole time. I just didn't see it, what I mean? So it's just I don't know. I would say that I definitely see it from both sides, because I kind of got that, like, I grew up in a white family. Like I said, I was adopted. Then, like, it's like when I come to the cities, they looked at me as like a white boy. When I was living out there, they looked at me as as a black kid. So it's like it kind of fucked with my mental and shit. Like, as far as like I didn't know who I was, but I would definitely say that it shaped me into the person who I am today. Yeah.
That's good, man.
For sure.
So sorry for just like racism in general, of course.
Yeah.
Like that's.
It's part of the world. Shit. It's just the world we live in. So.
Yeah. As a black man myself, I can say I definitely had dealt with it, but I don't let it define me ever, though.
No, hell no. No, for sure.
Yeah, you definitely didn't let it define you, though. That's for sure. I can tell right now.
It took a lot of work for me to to get to where I'm at, as far as career wise and and like my mental state, because it did a lot of stuff it kind of like I felt like I was held back just because of like the shit I dealt with and the shit I went through, whatever. So.
Gotcha. Who would you say has influenced you into and shaped you into the business owner that you are today?
I would say one of my good friends. He's also my mentor. He goes by Seymour Cash. He's actually from here. He played in the league for a little while in the NBA, and he also is in the car industry and also the music industry. So like he's been in the industry for over 15 years. He's been in LA. So like once I met with him and we built that friendship and that bond, he pretty much took me under his wing and like just kind of like showed me the loops of like how to be a successful businessman, as far as walking into companies and getting brand deals and stuff like that. So he definitely helped me with my career, but also too, you also got to be you gotta want it, and you also, you gotta be open to learn. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I love to like listen. I love to learn because it's like you don't know everything. You know what I'm saying? So the people that you cross is like I always have the open ear because you might learn something from a conversation from somebody that you don't know. You know what I mean? So like everything that he showed me, everything he taught me, and told me, like I took that in like a sponge. You know, so I would say like that he definitely had an influence on me, and to help me and to shape me into the person.
What age were you when you got a mentor?
I would say 23, yeah.
And then is that when you started cutting hair, or was that before, well before that?
No, I was actually doing music at that time when I met him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start cutting hair till, well, I mean, I cut hair just because I got 2 boys, so like I would cut them whatever, and like I put them on like Snapchat, and like my homeboy, he owns a barbershop in Mankato, MJ, and that's kind of like how I got into cutting hair, and that was in 2017. So that's like when I like officially started cutting hair, because I was doing construction for like 10 years prior to that with on the side of music. So I would say, yeah, like 2017 going into 2018 is like when I really started my barber career. I just pretty much was like, because he kept like bothering me, like, yo, I got a shop, I need you to cut, I want you to be a barber. And I'm like, at the time I don't have my barber license, like, I'm just cutting my kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess they were fired, so he's like, yo, come to the shop. So he asked me like 3-4 times. Like the 4th time he asked me, I was like, all right, whatever. So I quit my construction job and became a full-time barber.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you weren't even like, it felt like you had a calling into this.
I guess. I mean, I didn't think I would be a barber. I mean, I thought I was gonna be somewhere else in life and do some other things, but I guess God had other plans for me, and once I realized that this was my gift, and I was able to unlock that part of me, it showed me a lot and opened a lot of doors for me. So especially like once I like realized that, I'm like, damn, this is actually like, because at first, like when I got into barbering, I got it for the money, you know what I'm saying. But then like a year or 2 later, I really realized, just by like the people that were following me, and like the people that I cut next to, they're like, damn, like you actually, like, you're cold at this shit. So then when I heard that all the time, I'm just like, you know what, I could actually make this my career. I could actually do something with this. And then seeing like Hakeem and Melly and all them cut the athletes, I'm just like, I could do that too. You know what I'm saying? So like yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how I got into barbering. MJ got me into barbering. So you started off just cutting out your kids' hair first, right? Yeah. So you just started practicing on your kids, low barrier entry, not much, no risk, no nothing. Yeah, they're my dummies for real. Man, there's a few times where I mess my kids up, but I mean, shoot.
Yeah, like that's all part of the process, though, right?
Yeah, facts.
Yeah. So then but once you got good and you got comfortable there, and even MJ, a barbershop owner, right? He's like, oh my gosh, I noticed your skills, and I want you to come work for me right away. Wow. So that's very cool right there, and that was just like the beginning. You didn't even want it at first.
No, I really did. I was just doing it just for the money, you know what I'm saying? Just because I knew that, like, I mean, even though like when I got into barbering, it's not like how it is now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like us barbers that were cutting, back then, kind of paved the way for these new up and coming barbers to be able to charge what they're charging. Because like when I first started cutting hair, I was charging $15, $20. You know what I'm saying?
Now people want like 30.
Yeah, my house calls were like my house calls were like $75, $80. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like I'm charging $65, $70 to $150 to $200, and if I'm traveling out of state, that's $1,500 to $2,000 for me to travel out of state. So I mean, but now it's just like these new barbers, they just come in the game thinking that they could just automatically charge $50, $60. It's like, nah, you got to put in the work. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. I mean,
so for the young barbers listening out there and who want to be able to charge these type of prices, what do you think? What did they have to do, and what type of how much work do they got to put in before they can start actually paying, like charging that much?
I mean, it's one of those things where it's just kind of like for one, just put in the work. Take the necessary steps and figure out what works best for you. What what kind of style you want, like whatever the case is, and just build off of that, and just work towards, a number. Like if you're starting off at $30 a cut, tell yourself, hey, in 2 years I want to be at $40. You know what I'm saying? Put in that work, build your clientele up, and you'll see the work, come. So.
Okay, how do you build out your clientele? Because like for you, you're a celebrity barber,
yeah.
right? Okay, and you got a very like high end clientele. If a person wanted to start building that clientele from like scratch, how would they go about it?
I mean, there's not a way to. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it. I mean, if you look at between me and Hakeem, he did it with he had barbershops. Like he was more in the shop. You know what I'm saying? Me, I was never in the shop. I was more mobile. Like, even though like I worked at shops, whatever, but like I wouldn't be there for more than a year. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just so mobile and I like my freedom and I like to move around so much. Towards like it got hard for me to be in the shop and also do what I wanted to do. So like for me, what I did is just I just built that clientele off of just being consistent, really, and just networking, finding people that don't have the time to make it to a barbershop or like, don't want to, deal with the barbershop or like all that people and all that kind of stuff like that, especially after COVID. Like that's kind of like when things really changed for me. Well, actually, I would say COVID, I definitely like, I made a lot of money in COVID because I was already being a mobile barber, you know what I'm saying? So, but I would just say like, I mean, there's really no way, to just kind of like, it's more just like find your niche, you know what I mean? Like once you find like, how you, like for me, like, I would say my mentor, like I wasn't good with like eye contact. I wasn't good with like, communicating. Like I was kind of like, stuck a little bit. Like, so it's like once I like learned how to like become better at like communicating, like, being with eye contact and like, being confident in my shit, it's just like, that's kind of like when it took over. So like, you just gotta be confident and just be consistent. Okay. And just, find, who you want to cut. Like for me, like everybody who I cut, like, I did that, on purpose. It wasn't just like they fell in my lap. Some people fell in my lap, but most of the time, if I was like, okay, I'm gonna go cut such and such, I'm gonna find a way to, whether it's, say if it's like, for instance, like G-Eazy, if I'm cutting G-Eazy, if I want him, I'm gonna find his DJ, I'm gonna find his road manager, I'm gonna find his assistant, his manager, PR. I'm gonna find a way to get to him, and that's kind of like how I get all my clients, is that I find a way to get to them, whether it's like through somebody else that knows them, or sometimes I have a few clients that I directly hit up and they responded back to me, but most of the people, it's because of their assistant, manager, like, whatever the case is. So
dang, so you were very intentional with the people you picked, and on top of that, you were just intentional about like the wording and the way you went about it as well.
No, facts.
So if I wanted to go get somebody like a celebrity barber, how would you go about it? So you said you would go get their manager or something. Okay, like I don't know how to get a manager. Some people, these people watching, they don't know how to get a manager. Yeah. So how would you go get about like getting like? I mean, I
would go on their Instagram and see who, who's around them. Obviously, you can see like the tags. So it's just like, okay, so if he has a show coming up, or like, so for instance, I'll give you so for Benny the Butcher came here to do a show. So when he came here, I'm like, okay, I went on his page, okay, I seen that because some artists have their managers tagged or their ads already in their their bio. So for Benny the Butcher, he had his manager's ad. So obviously, Benny the Butcher, he has over like a few million followers, so it's kind of like, he ain't gonna look at the messages, what I'm saying, especially the request. So I went to his manager's page, I DM'd him, and his manager actually had his number on. Some managers have the number on, on their bio. Okay. So he had his number on the bio. I called him. I told him who I was, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a celebrity barber here in Minnesota. I see that you guys are coming to town. If you guys need cuts, let me know. I'll pull up to you. Boom. Next day, they pulled up. He called me. He was like, yeah, come cut, me and so-and-so. I was like, okay. So I went to go cut him, and then after that, we went to, I think it was the Skyway, to go cut Benny. And it was funny because when I got there, I'm just chilling. Like, when I walked in, I'm just chilling, whatever. And then his girl was like, yo, baby, you gonna get a haircut? And he's like, all the barbers out here, I'm gonna have to just get one tomorrow. And I'm like, I'm the barber. I'm sitting there for like an hour, like, just chilling. We was just chilling, whatever. And he's like, oh shit, well, come on, run it. So that's how I cut Benny the Butcher, was because of his manager. So.
Okay, good, great sauce, man.
Yeah, so it's just, it comes with, like, you just gotta know how to like word, certain things. You just gotta like know how to come at these people. Like, you just can't be like, you don't want to sound like too thirsty, or like, you don't want to sound like, what I'm saying. So like, it's just, you gotta know how to like, market yourself, and just know how to talk to people. What I mean. So That's kind of like what I learned from my mentors, you know, being able to talk to these people, because him himself went into Maserati and got a brand deal, you know, by himself. So it's like, but when you're able to do stuff like that, you know, you can use those skills in, you know, into different, you know, categories or, you know, realms of whatever you're doing. So
And so I was watching one of your podcasts, and you said that you gave out a couple of free haircuts to like certain select people.
Yeah.
So then, even though it's like backwards when people say, "Oh, I'm actually just like, since this person is like a big name person, I'm actually gonna charge them more since they're able to pay that price."
Yeah.
But you actually meant the opposite. You took the opposite approach and said, "No, I'm gonna give it to you for free. Then if you like it, then yeah."
I mean, because I know that, you know, money's just money. You know what I'm saying? Relationships gonna get you further than money. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes money can get you into, like, if you realize, like, for me, it's like people that like go out every weekend and buy sections and buy bottles. Like, I can do that with no money. How was that? Because of relationships. So you saying that flexing, you over here flexing these bottles, flexing these sections, but you're paying thousands of dollars for this shit when I can just walk up to the security guard, create a conversation to where now he's going to get the club owner. Now I'm caught, you know, chopping up with him, you know, but we're having such a good conversation to where he's like, you know what, I got you, come to the club. I've done that before multiple times in different cities. So
really?
That's a real flex to me. Like, I can do what you're doing but for free. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's why I don't charge people, because I know that relationships gonna get me further than money. I mean, money's good, obviously. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna come.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But right now, I see the bigger picture. Relationships are definitely gonna get you further than money.
Yeah. So
I put you in rooms like, you know, with Lil Baby, like, you know, that was because of who I've, you know, networked with, that is, you know, in his circle. So it's like, oh shit, GP's out here, hey, do. So that's how I got in with, you know, with him. So it's just kind of like, that's why, and people, because if you cut these certain people, these high end people, and you like, you seem thirsty, or like, you know, you're doing it for the, like, they'll know, to where like, I don't like his energy, I don't want him back around me. You know, it's a cutthroat game. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So like, but like for me, oh, GP's cool. He has good energy. He has good spirit. He's funny. And at that, you know, he's just like, yo, you're cool on this first cut. You know what I'm saying? So why not have him back? You know, why not bring him around again?
So relationship building is a key to being like a professional barber.
For sure.
So
for sure.
Because right now, because like I would say that's one of the keys I've been working on myself.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I've been working on myself, and it's actually just like very huge, because if you can't build a relationship, or if you can't even like connect with the person, then it's really just like difficult for like it's difficult for them to want to like help you out as well, you know. 100%. And then like I also was listening to a podcast by Alex Hormozy, and he was talking about unscalable value. And what unscalable value is like just pretty much doing as much as you can with that, and just like offering your service as much as you can, but I pretty much would offer like pretty much for no money. And that's like, it's just crazy to hear you say that, and you were doing that, and then now like just like hearing your success story is crazy, because like I can look back at that. I can show you the one after this too.
Yeah.
And it's just like crazy.
No, facts. So I would say, the relationships is key for sure.
Relationships. So, you said you're you're an introverted person, I heard, right? Or you said you're more extroverted now?
I mean, I'll probably say both, low key, really. I mean, yeah, I'll probably say both.
So when you started out, were you introverted or extroverted?
Probably introvert. Yeah.
So then you had to just like work on that skill too to just.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, there's times where, like, you know, like, so like my mentor, he would put me in situations to where I would have to, you know, become, you know, better at, you know, like networking, you know, communication skills. So like what he would do is, he would put me in situations where, like, I'll say, so for instance, he used to be a part of this company in LA that made metal straws, because, you know, out that way, you know, they can't, you know, most places don't have, you know, plastic straws because, you know, of the ocean or whatever. So what he made me do is he made me go to these restaurants and talk to the manager or the owner and kind of like present these straws to them, as far as like, hey, you know, this is what I'm doing, this is what I got. So by him doing that for me, it kind of built my confidence up to be able to walk into these places, to be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Da, da, da. You know, there's a time where I went to Maserati to try to get him a deal, or like let them know like, hey, this is what we're working on. We're trying to get a new car. Da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? So by me doing that, that built up that confidence, and for me to be able to move the way I move. So.
It sounds like you got into sales, and your mentor got you into sales. It sounds like, because you were offering straws, you said.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how'd you go to? I don't know how to sell straws, but
I mean, I wasn't
like,
I wasn't selling straws. It's just that he just had the the people.
Yeah, just like come up, but like it just sounded like you had just had to get him intrigued and like something like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's just by him doing that, it just made me like, be better with being able to walk into these companies and asking for things and stuff like that. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean that did good. It sounds like.
No, facts.
Because like to me, like I did the same thing when I was applying my job. I had to do all that extra stuff. I had to like, hey, like this is why I'll be a good fit, a good candidate.
Yeah.
But you're doing the exact same thing. It's like, oh yeah, like I'm doing, but you're just doing it for yourself,
No,
like,
facts.
So that, hey, bro.
Yeah, no, he definitely put me in a lot of situations to where it made me uncomfortable, but that was his way of helping me get out of my out of that to be able to become a monster.
Hey, that's what's up, dude. So how does one get a mentor like that?
I mean, really, it's just again, networking and just creating that relationship with people, and we just both clicked. We both wanted the same things, and he already had that. Like, what I'm saying, like he's the type of person like he had the millions. He had all the millions of the cars. He had all that shit. Crib in Laguna, like what I'm saying. But like for him, like how like most people would be like so like say for instance like say 21 Savage. Oh, he's got all his homeboys. Like giving them money, giving them chains. Like he didn't do that for me. Even though he had the millions and the cars and all that shit, I never got to drive his car. I never there's none of that shit. It was you ain't even gonna stay at my crib. You know what I'm saying? When I left Minnesota to go to LA for my first time, I slept in my car for like a week.
What?
Yeah, because nigga, if you want this, I'm gonna show you how to get it, how I got it. You know what I'm saying? So it's more like he put me into situations and he put me into shit that would make me want to go get it. You know what I'm saying? So like it wasn't just like, oh, come to my crib, you can just come lay up. I'll give you some money. No, I was like, no, if you want it, nigga, I'm gonna show you how to get that shit.
He gave you the opportunity. He gave you the skills.
Yeah, no, facts. So that's kind of like another thing. Why it's just like it's good to find a mentor. You know what I'm saying? But you also got to find one that is actually worth building that relationship with. Because I mean, I've had people. I won't even say a mentor, just even with business, what I'm saying? Like I've had, business, where I've done business with people and it didn't work out, what I'm saying? But that's just how the game goes, you can't always get it, every single time, you're gonna have the bad apples, so you just gotta, learn from it and grow from it. So.
Yeah, you can't let that affect you.
Yeah, no.
All right, nah, let's switch over. You work with the Minnesota Vikings, right? And you're their pretty much their personal barber.
I am, yep.
Yeah, so you gonna tell us about you did that and everything?
I mean, that was crazy. So this is again, like I would say when I was 2019, I was cutting Laquan Treadwell, and that's because one of my homeboys that I worked with, Smooth, shout out to Smooth, he was I think he was sick or he couldn't get to him, whatever. So he's like, yo, GP, you want to go get Laquan? I'm like, okay, cool. At the time, I'm just like, okay, whatever. But when I started cutting him, he became my client full time. And I'm just like, okay, this is kind of dope, actually. So now, moving forward, every player that came into town, that was traded, that was, drafted, I would be in their DMs like, hey, I'm a barber here. If you need a barber, So there was a few players that I was able to get from 2019 to, like, I would say 2023. I was probably maybe cutting like 5-6 players, whatever. And then I had met Tristan Jackson about 4 years ago when he first came here at a Halloween party. And at first he wasn't really like rocking with me. And then like I would probably say like a few months later he had hit me up and was like, yo, I need to cut. So I started cutting him up for the last 4 years, and then I would say the 2023 season, the beginning of the 2023 season, I came back from Vegas and I was just gonna go, come get my tattoo and go back out there. And Tristan that hit me up like, yo, I need a cut. So I went to go cut him up, and then he started to refer me to all the other players, and all of a sudden I went from like 5 players to like 30 players and 8 coaches within one season. So then at that time I had my van, so knowing me, I'm trying to do my research on who I can contact, within the organization to try to be their barber, and try to leverage my van. Like, hey, I got this van, I can pull up to the facility, because obviously I'm bringing something to the table. Like, I don't want to just go in there and not bring nothing to the table, besides the skill. I want, so I ended up getting in contact with the GM's assistant, and that was the 2023 season, and I was just like, yo, I got this van, I want to, be a barber. And come to find out, they actually released their old barber because he was like an older guy, so he didn't work there no more. But then they ended up hiring another barber, and so he pretty much was, I guess he was doing it, for maybe like 2 years prior to that, maybe. But anyways, so she was just like, oh yeah, it's not gonna work out this season, like, because we already have a barber. There's no need for 2 barbers because there's not enough people that are getting haircuts. So I was just kind of like, damn, like, it did kind of like, it kind of hurt a little bit, but I'm like, you know what, fuck that. Like, I'm gonna keep my head up high. I'm gonna be like, watch this. So come the 2024 season, I'm back in action, cutting all my players and accumulating more players. Like, I'm cutting like #1 draft picks, like, Dallas Turner, like, I'm cutting all these big name, players that are coming into Minnesota. So like, they also hired 2 new player development coaches. And they're like, yo, like, who's the barber? Like, who be cutting y'all up? And like, everybody kept saying GP. So like, my name was like circulating around the facility so much where it's like, okay, who the fuck is this GP dude? So I got a phone call one day like, yo, this is such and such. I'm here at the Minnesota Vikings. I'm a player development coach. He's like, can you come in and have a conversation about being a barber? I said, yeah, of course, hell yeah. So I went in there. We had kind of chopped it up with everybody. He's like, yeah, we'd like you to be a barber here. I'm like, all right, bet. So I would probably say the start of the 2024 season is when I became like the official barber.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, bro. That's a big milestone.
No, facts.
That's great.
It's dope. Yeah, it's pretty dope, So this is, but for me, like, I don't know, people always say I'm too humble because it's like, I never like, celebrate myself, but it's like, for me, it's like, okay, I accomplished that. What's next? What can I do next? I'm always trying to figure out what I can do next, which is, I gotta stop doing that because I would just be like, damn. Sometimes like when I talk about like what I've done and like where I've been at, and, like, all that kind of stuff, that's kind of like when I'm like to myself, I'm like, damn, like I'm really like, what I'm saying, I'm really doing that, what I'm saying, what I was talking about, years ago, like what I wanted to do. But nah, I gotta be able to celebrate myself more often because I don't.
No, dude, you got to, man. That's a big milestone. Like,
yeah.
And the fact that you're able to do that in like under like a year or two. Good job, bro. Like,
no, I appreciate it.
You should definitely pat yourself on the back. Golly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess it's just, I feel like the people watching this might want to hear this, but have you cut Justin Jefferson's hair?
I haven't, no.
You haven't?
No. I've kicked it with him plenty of times. Like, yeah, like when Dalvin Cook was here, he'd always have a summer pool party, like before the season. All of them were there, and I mean, I've kicked it with JJ plenty of times. I've seen him in Vegas for the Super Bowl and stuff like that. When I was cutting KJ and Tristan out there, he was in the house, filming and doing all that, doing what he does, but no, I never cut him before.
Gotcha. Well, it don't matter.
I mean, it might come around, but no, not yet.
Hey, bro, you're in the room. It don't matter eventually.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably say I've cut everybody else except him. I've cut Addison, I've cut JJ McCarthy, I've cut Harrison Smith. Like, I've cut everybody. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
Like, there's a few players I haven't cut, but yeah, I would say I've cut the majority of the team and the coaching staff. So
yeah, because I actually messaged you about what was his name? Like what the defensive coach.
Oh,
totally
light skin?
Huh?
Light skin?
Yeah, like light skin. He's from like Beverly Hills or something.
Oh, I'm trying to think. I'm not sure though. I'd have to. So yeah, I'm not sure.
Nah, I'd probably look at the messages or something.
Yeah.
But I forgot his name. Forget that.
Yeah.
Actually, let's take it back. Tell us about like why did you choose mobile barber? Like just to be mobile, and also like how did you get into that niche? Just say.
Mobile barbering. Well, first off, for the people that don't know, the first 5 years of my barber career, I never had a barber license.
Okay.
So, but again, that's because the way you talk to people, the way you present yourself, you know, and my work spoke for itself to where it would allow people to let me work in their barbershops. So like when I started at MJ's, I didn't have my barber license. You know, when I went over to these other, because I started in Mankato, moved to the cities, and I started cutting at, you know, a few other shops out here, and you know I didn't have my license. But then once I moved to LA, again, you know, I was cutting with no license, you know, in these shops. You know, I would just kind of like finesse it a little bit, like, you know, oh, I'm working on getting it. Okay, da-da-da. But anyways, I would just say, for one, I like the freedom. I like to travel. I mean, I have ADHD, so it's kind of like, you know, I like to just be, you know, do something. You know what I mean? So like sitting in a shop, I mean, it's cool and all, but like it just wasn't for me. You know, it was more like, you know, get out, go get it. Like I just feel like, you know, with barbering, there's so many different avenues, so many different ways that you can, you know, do in the, you know, barber world. So it's just like, for me, I just chose to be mobile because I just felt like, you know. Well, plus, you know, another thing too is like, you know, the fact that I was cutting in LA, like mobile barbering is big on the West Coast. It's big in, you know, Florida. Like, you know, Minnesota's always late to get everything, you know. So it's like, for me, like, I'm like, okay, you know, mobile's dope. You know, that gives me my freedom. I don't have to pay anybody. I'm paying myself. You know what I'm saying? This money can go, you know, to, you know, A, B, and C. And also too, it's just like traveling and cutting hairs. Like, it's just dope. You know what I mean? I've cut in probably seven different states. You know, so. But that's the dope thing about it, because now, like, anytime I go back to that state or to that city that I've cut at and I built relationships with people, I can go back whenever I want, and they still gonna get a haircut from me.
Damn.
So whether I'm going on vacation, I'm still making money. If I'm just going just to go, I can still make money. You know what I'm saying?
It must be great, man.
Yeah.
Good job, bro. Dude, you did good, Joe. I mean, as I'm gonna say, like you did good for yourself.
I appreciate it.
Now, since we talked about all of that, I've heard that you actually got a documentary, man.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so tell us more about that. Like, what's going on? Like, I heard, because like, it's been like, what, 2 years you've been working on it now?
I've actually been working on it since I started barbering.
Oh, started barbering.
Yeah. So like, I mean, everything that I've done, like, has been documented.
Okay.
It's been, you know, recorded, and I will say that I met my business partner that I'm with right now 2 years ago. The beginning of 2023 I met him. So going on 2 years. I met him at a Vegas barber show or whatever, and I did that interview in Vegas, and he was behind the camera. And when he heard my story, he's like, "Yo, that's dope. Like, you know, you should shoot a documentary." And I'm like, "You know what? I'm actually, you know, trying to work on that, but I also have, like, you know, the right people behind me." So then he's like, "You know what? Take my number. We'll chop it up." I called him the next day. We met, and we were just chopping it up. He's like, "Yo, like, you know, this is what I can do for you. Like, let's do that shit." You know what I'm saying? So I would say 3 months later, he flew out to Minnesota, and we started shooting right away. And then from that, so the beginning of 2023 till now, we've been shooting, and we've shot multiple times in Minnesota. We shot in Florida. We shot in LA. We shot in Vegas. You know, so like, I'm just, you know, it's just, I wanted to like share my story, because like I feel like my story is different. You know, just coming from where I came from, and then, you know, not knowing, like, I'm not from the city, so like I'm not knowing anybody out here. So like, I've literally had to, like, you know, build my clientele out here and you know, my rapport out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, some barbers, you know, they're from here, so like they go to school, you know, the players that are going to the league, so like they already have that. You know what I'm saying? I never had that. Like, I had to come here fresh, you know, and just, so I just want that, you know, my story to be known, and just like let other people, whether they're barbers or not, you know, just let them know that, like, you can do anything that you put your mind to, you know. So.
Well, do you have a day that's dropping it?
I do, but I'm not telling you that. But it's
in the works.
It's 2025, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
2025.
Early 2025, yeah, because we're submitting it for a bunch of film shows. We're gonna be submitting it to like Tubi, YouTube TV, Apple TV. Well, first it's gonna launch on his app. He has an app, and then we're gonna do the films, and then do that, and then once we get enough attraction, we actually have some connections on Netflix to where we're gonna try to put it on Netflix. So
Wow, it's gonna be on Netflix.
yeah,
Well, I'll be the first to watch it. That's for sure.
yeah. So it's gonna be dope. So I'm excited. I mean, I've put a lot of work into this, and he also played a big part. You know, being able to make this dream come true of mine. So it's exciting.
That's great, bro.
Yeah.
That's very, very great. I look forward to it. So
I
you gotta let me.
appreciate
I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta promote it, or you gotta tell me the date soon, man. I'm
No, it's dropping soon, 2025. So 2025 is right around the corner. So it'll be soon.
Okay, I got another question. How big was Barber View TV part of your success? Because I watched an interview with you guys, and it seemed like they before you kind of popped off, they were right there with you. So did they play a big part into your success, or was the community nice?
So you're talking about United Barbers Club, the one that I just did the interview.
Yeah.
So United Barbers Club, they're out of California, and I used to do IG lives with influential barbers, with other celebrities. And when I was doing that, they had caught on to it, and they're like, "Oh, that's dope." They DM me, "Oh, that's dope." We like what you do. He's like, we actually have a podcast. We would like for you to hop on and just So we did an IG live, but the IG live was messing up. My connection was going to shit, whatever. So whatever. Fast forward, I met them at that Vegas show for the first time, and then that's when we redid the interview live. And Barberview TV is the one that did the camera work. He's behind the camera. So Barberview TV is somebody that's big in the barber industry, filming these big shows, stuff like that. So we've been in connection, like I said, at the beginning of 2023, and that's who's been so Barberview is who's shooting my documentary.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So Barberview TV, he's played a big role in my career in the last 2 years. So it's, like I said, just helping me out with my documentary, helping me out with with business tips, and he got me partnered with this company out of Toronto called Maneuver. It's an all black, male. I wouldn't say male, I would just say a grooming line, because it's for men and women, and so their main thing is beard and beard products, whatever. So that's kind of right now we're working on getting me to do educational speaking at these shows and talk about the product, and because when I grow my beard back up, my beard it looks nice whatever with the product. So a lot of people be like, oh, what do you use for your beard? So so I would say Barberview TV has played a big part of my career, especially right now, where I'm at and where I'm going. So you'll see and hear a lot more of Barberview TV. So
great. Yeah. I'm actually trying to grow a beard right now, but don't so don't come at me.
I mean, shit, I got the products for you, man. I can get you whatever you need. I can help you with that journey. For sure.
I mean, South Sudanese men don't really grow that facial hair, right? So there's that part. Besides that, tell us about Clip Art, because that's actually kind of how we kind of met, though. Because think about that, because that's the type of your community work. Since even though you've been doing all these good things and helping Minnesota Vikings and just doing your own outreach and networking, and then now you're giving back to the community and the Clip Art. So why don't you tell us more about that and what you've done there?
Yeah, so Clip Art, I've been with Clip Art for I want to say 2 years now. He had found me on Instagram and reached out to me. He was like, yo, I'm part of this company. I own this company. We are in I think 20 states. And what we do is we focus on colleges that that are in the boonies, whatever, that to give up and provide free haircuts. Yeah. Provide free haircuts to students that either that can't afford it or just, can't find a good barber. So I started doing that, and I love it. I mean, it's dope because I get to travel, I get to go to different colleges, see different how people are, and I also get to meet people that with different stories and different backgrounds, and that I've met people from Indonesia and just all over the world. So it's just it's dope for that, what I'm saying, and also just to be able to give back. I love to give back to to the community and help people out. That's kind of why I became a barber, is because I like to help people out. So I like to make people feel good, and also just to have a conversation, to see where they want to be at in life and what they want to do, and Clip Dart's fun. I would say I probably cut at maybe like 5 or 6 colleges now with Clip Dart, and I know that they're trying to like build the Minnesota hub, because right now we're just cutting in Wisconsin, and then we have one in Morris, Minnesota, but I don't really go to that one too much because it's kind of too far. It's like a 3-hour drive, but I mean, they pay well, so yeah. I mean, we just go out there, get free haircuts, talk to the kids, and have a good old day.
Yeah.
That's
fun fact. That's how we met, like, surprisingly.
Yeah,
And
no, it was dope. It was dope how we met, and for us to, be back here, and now I'm seeing you do this, and now I get to see your journey becoming this entrepreneur that you want to be, and so it's dope.
yeah, I appreciate it, bro. It's gonna be a fun ride.
It's gonna be fun, yeah, for sure.
How often would you say you use the word expensive?
Expensive?
Yeah, like expensive.
I don't really use that word.
You don't use that word?
No.
Yeah, low. I mean, I feel like that's a limiting word, and if you have a limiting like vocabulary, then like that just revolves around your life. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I don't use that word often. No.
Okay.
No.
That sounds good. All right. So there's one last thing. What are some 3 steps that like a young barber like trying to start out in this career? What are some 3 steps they can take starting today, or just like actionable steps that they can take towards their goals to become someone like you?
I would say building their skill, like make sure like they are taking the time and the necessary steps and to learn themselves and to build the skill to where they want to get to. I would say consistency. Always be consistent with your work, consistent with your clients, and be respectful. Because I mean, people, you deal with people every day. You deal with people's different energies, and some days you might deal with a client that had a bad day, and they might project it on you to where it's like now you're getting out of your skin because he's acting. Just be respectful. Help. That's what we're here for. Is we're here to help people. So not just with a haircut, but also with with their life. That's they say. Going to the barber shop or going to a barber is therapeutic. Because it is. Because you get to express how you feel, and you get to talk about things that you really can't talk about. Especially as men. Men don't have that window of like being able to express themselves. Because people look at us like as
like
strong.
Yeah. You don't got feelings.
Yeah, So being a barber, you got to be able to be that person to be able to let other men express how they feel, like when they're going through things, and listen to them, and know how to talk to them. So I would say those 2 things: build, work on your skill, build your skill up, consistency, and being respectful.
Well, any last questions for me, man?
No. I appreciate you having me here, though.
Thank you so much, JP. You've been great. You did a very good job answering the questions, and I just wish you the best on your future endeavors, man.
I appreciate it.
Peace, man.
Yes, sir.